Just as the farmer plants his seed and gives it time to grow, you must also plant that dream and give it time to grow. The problem is we want it fast. We think that I'm going to water it 5 times a day. I'm going to put a bunch of fertilizer on it. I'm going to speed it up and I'll get it faster. No, you're doing too much. It's kind of like trying to go on a date. You tell this girl, like, I'm going to get you a car. I'm going to buy you a house. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that for you. Bro, you're doing too much. Slow down. But we don't want to slow down. We don't want to have to wait and give it the time it needs to develop. We want it now. A pregnant woman, she wants her baby now. But it takes 9 months, not four, not two, not three. And if you try to rush the process, you're going to just get this ball of cells and veins and blood clots. If you dig up your seed before it's done growing, you're just going to have a lump and no corn, no tomatoes, no fruit. If you try to rush that dream, you'll get a okay version of it, but you're not going to get the full thing that was meant for you. Get your notebooks. This is going to be a good one. See, patience is one of those things we all know we need, but very rarely do we want to practice it. I used to be into gardening, and when I first got into it, I was trying to rush the process. I want my tomato now. And I'm on Google and I'm typing in how to make it grow faster. What kind of fertilizer to use? How do I make it grow faster? You just have to let it grow. And maybe you're an entrepreneur and you want your business to grow now. You want it fast. Okay, there are things you can do, but regardless, it'll take time. Maybe you're a student and you want to improve your grades, you want to study, you want to get a better test score. No matter how hard you study, no matter how many textbooks you read, no matter how much you practice, it'll take time. Maybe you're a student athlete and you want to get better at football or baseball or basketball. Regardless of how much you practice and how many times you watch a motivational video, it'll take time. And you have to give things the time they need. So the first question I want to ask you is, why are you in such a rush? Because something I found was that is often you doubt the process. You have a doubt inside of you that says, I'm not going to get it fast enough, so maybe if I rush the process, then I'll get it. But if you just have faith in the process, you'll keep showing up day by day. The farmer doesn't plant his seed on Monday and get a flower or a plant or a fruit on Friday. No, he just plants it and he waters it. And then he waters it. And then the next day he waters it. And then the next day he waters it. And eventually he has a little green sprout coming out of the ground. And people, when they see that first green sprout, they're like, oh my gosh, it finally worked. And they pull it up. But it's not ready yet. We have a problem when we see a little bit of growth, we think, I've made it. And we stop ourselves from getting the bigger blessing. And the bigger of a blessing that you want, the bigger of the goal that you want, the more that you have to be willing to invest. There is a time to sow, which means to plant, and there was a time to reap, which means to harvest and get the things that you have been planting. In my experience, I could say that, man, I want my YouTube channel to grow faster. I want my business to grow faster. I want more opportunities. And these are normal. These are okay to want. It's okay to want it. Now, I could try and rush it. I could say, I'm going to pay for ads. I'm going to hire somebody. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, which I could. But even if you speed it up, it still takes time. And you can't try to get this big goal like that. It's possible, but you also have to be willing to develop yourself into the person that can have that. You have to be willing to take the time to develop you into the person that can have that thing you want. If you want to go to the NBA, you have to develop yourself into somebody with the work ethic discipline, mental toughness, and ability to perform at such a high level because they're not playing regular street basketball. No, they are playing at the highest of the highest levels. If you want to grow your business to $50,000 a month, that's my goal. I want to make $50,000 a month through speaking, product sales, coaching, etc. In order for me to do that, I have to develop myself into someone who has the work ethic, the consistency, the discipline, and the skill required, the stress management ability, the ability to manage a team that can have that kind of goal. And you can't rush it because let's just say this. You rush the process, you get it now, but you're not the kind of person that can maintain and hold that kind of goal. It'll just leave because you're not able to manage it. This is why a lot of lottery winners, they go broke very fast because they are not the kind of person that can hold that amount of money and maintain it. And another problem that comes up is people think that I'm not that kind of person. I'm not good enough. I'm not capable. But that's your opinion of yourself. That's how you believe about you. You believe you're not the kind of person that can have that. However, that does not mean that you cannot develop yourself into that person. If you go back to my first YouTube videos, I came on here, I was shy, I was stuttering, I was nervous. But now I'm very confident, I'm articulate, I'm able to come on here and give high level value in a very clear, easy way, which back then I couldn't do. I went on these very long tangents. So, how did I get here? How did I get this office? How did I get this laptop, this microphone, webcam? How did I do this? I developed myself into the kind of person that could. Lawrence 2 years ago, he could not have done this. Lawrence 2 years ago, he couldn't have done this. But Lawrence today can. Lawrence today did. And Lawrence in 2 years from now will be the kind of person that can make 50,000 a month. And when it comes to time, that's really when it comes to time, that is something where people they think from this limited perspective, and I'm talking about all people, including myself. We'll think from this limited perspective of it's going to take me 5 years to achieve this thing. It's going to take me 10 years to achieve this thing. It'll take me 1 year to achieve this thing. But internally, you're able to live that life before you have it externally. I'll explain it very clearly to you. So, as you can see, I have this office here. Before I had the office, as in, before in my physical reality, I could, walk in, have an office, sit in here, do this stuff. In my head, I would look at pictures of office buildings. I would imagine the office building. I would say, what do I want in it? How do I want it to look? How do I want my room to be? I would paint a picture in my head. And I would imagine this picture up here, and I would live my life here. I would I would feel the chairs. I would see the people. I would shake hands. I would do it in my head. And eventually, doing this over and over and over, working on my skills, developing my craft, researching, figuring out, okay, how do I get an office? How much does it cost? What legal thing do I need to do? How do I get an office? And I would just think about this. And eventually, I created a plan and I executed that plan. But in order to do it, you have to develop yourself into the person that can. You have to take the time to let that dream grow. You have to take the time to work on that business, to go to the gym, to study for your test, to ask that girl out, to get your first job, to save up some money, to be able to get your first apartment, whatever your goal is. You will have to keep showing up. Just like the farmer plants his seed, he waters it, he tends to his crop, and he lets it grow. You have to do that. And you can't rush the process. You can't see a little bit of growth and say, now I made it, and you tear it out. Just like how when someone's pregnant, they don't get the ultrasound and say, now my baby's ready, and they take it out 8 months before it's ready. Like it ain't done yet. Just like how the chef puts the food in the oven and he waits until it is done cooking, you have to keep showing up and give yourself the time to develop, to let the dream grow, to allow the dream, that baby, that goal, that desire to fully develop before it is ready to be brought into the world, to allow yourself to keep cooking. Okay? Everybody wants to be a chef, but nobody wants to take the time to cook. Nobody wants to take the time to work on that craft. Nobody wants to take the time. And if you're somebody who has patience, if you're somebody who's able to show up, if you're somebody who is consistent, if you're somebody who says, even on the good days I'm showing up, even on the bad days I'm showing up, even when I don't know, I'm gonna do the best I can. Even when I don't know, I will do the best I can and I will research, I will study, I will learn, I will practice, I will show up, I will go to seminars, I will put myself in these kind of rooms with people who know way more than me so I can learn from them. I will do what it takes. If you're that kind of person, oh my gosh, the competition is so slim. Like, I'm 19 years old, okay? I'm 19 years old, and this is what I do on a Sunday. This is what I do on a Saturday. This is what I do on a Monday, a Friday, a Tuesday. Halloween, I'm not out partying. Christmas, I'm with my family, but I'm not out partying. New Year's, I ain't partying. I ain't doing none of that. I don't even have a TV in my room. I have a whiteboard on my bedroom wall. That's the kind of stuff I do. And what I'm talking about is that if you're somebody who is willing to go that extra mile for a extended period of time without seeing results, you're going to make it. You're going to make it. It's just a matter of time until your seed cracks open and blooms, and now you have this giant tree. It's just a matter of time until that baby, that dream inside of you is fully developed, and now you have just taken your life to a whole new level. It's just a matter of time until that weight drops off you in the gym. You build that muscle, you get that job, you get that house, you get that apartment, you move out, you save up that money, you start that business. It's just a matter of time until your life transforms. But day by day by day is what matters. It doesn't matter if you get it tomorrow. It doesn't matter if you get it next week. It doesn't matter if you get it next year. You'll get it when you get it. I love fishing. And when you're fishing, you think to yourself, man, I want the fish now. I want it to bite now. I just really want to catch this fish. You'll catch the fish when you catch the fish. You'll get there when you get there. You'll get the trophy when you get the trophy. You'll get straight A's when you get straight A's. If you're on a road trip, you will arrive when you arrive. The plane will land when the plane lands. Man, I want it to go faster. I want it to go faster. I just can't wait. And you start speeding up and then you crash. But if instead you just said, I will get there when I get there, I don't need to rush the process. I don't need to try and force it. It will happen when it happens. The fish will bite when the fish bites. I will arrive from point A to point B when I arrive at point B. I will get the job when I get the job. I will get into college, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, whatever you want to do, when I get in. My business will grow when my business grows. My crop will grow when it grows. My opportunity will come when the opportunity comes. However, I am not at all saying that you just sit around and say, it'll happen when it happens. No, put that work in. Show up. Develop yourself into the person that you need to be to capitalize on that opportunity when it shows up. Because I can hand you the opportunity. I can give it to you right now. You could win the lottery. You could get a weight loss pill. You could go on like the Ozempic or whatever, and If you're not the kind of person that can maintain that money, if you're not the kind of person that can maintain that body, if you're not the kind of person that can maintain that business, maintain that relationship, maintain those grades, maintain being in the NBA, maintain everything you want, you're going to lose because you haven't developed yourself into the person that can even hold that. If you're not the kind of person that can maintain those things you want, even if I hand it to you, even if I hand it to you, no strings attached, you're gonna blow it because you're not able to maintain that. And we often are so worried about, I want to grow money, I want to grow my health, I want to grow these things, but we don't take the time to grow ourselves, to do the inner work that is necessary to be able to have that. This is why some people, no matter what they do externally, no matter how many extra jobs they work, no matter how many extra shifts they take on, no matter how many people they ask out, no matter what they do, they don't ever have what they want because they're not the kind of person that can have that thing. And that's not permanent. It's not permanent that, oh, because when you were a kid, you were shy and insecure, that you can't become confident. No, that's not permanent. It's just saying that version of you is not able to have what you want. But you can develop yourself into a new version. You can develop yourself into a higher version. You can develop yourself into the person that can, but right now, you're not that person. So what do you have to do? Figure out, what do I want? Okay, what do I want? What's the goal? Do I want a car? Do I want a job? Do I want to get into college? Do I want a 4.0 GPA? Do I want a girlfriend? What do I want? Do I want to be a bodybuilder? Do I want to be strong? Do I want to lose some weight? Do I want to have muscle? What do I want? Okay, now that you know what you want, ask yourself, that version of me, imagine yourself mentally as that person. You're living the life. You have the relationship. You have the car. You have the job. You have the college degree. You have all the things you want. Now, what does that person believe about themselves? What do they believe about themselves? Oh, if I have a girlfriend, I'm going to believe I'm confident. If I'm in good shape, I must believe that health is important. If I have a high grade, like I have all straight A's, that must mean that I believe my grades are important. I believe that these things are important. Okay. Now, you also want to ask yourself, what does that person do? What does their day look like? Okay, when they wake up, they study. When they go to school, they're focused. When they come home, they do their homework. They don't go out late at night partying. They don't drink. They don't smoke. What does that person do? That version of you that has what you want, that has the goal, that is the person that can, what do they believe about themselves? What do they do? What do they not do? How do they think? How do they treat themselves? How do they treat others? You want to get as clear of a picture of this as possible. And the more you align yourself with that version of yourself, the more likely you are to get that. It's really that simple because the person that can will do what must be done to have the thing you want. If you, right now you're 300 pounds and you want to be 200, you want to lose 100 pounds, you're 300, you want to get to 200. That version of you is possible. It exists. It's capable. So you have to figure out, well, what does that person believe? They believe that what they eat and drink is very important. They take health very seriously. Okay, right now, you're not that version of you, but you have that idea in here. And throughout your life, throughout your day, you want to make decisions like that person would. The version of you that had what you want, make decisions like that person would. For me, when I wanted to get this office, I had to imagine, what does the version of Lawrence that has his own office do? What does he do? What does he believe? How does he act? How does he spend money? How does he treat other people? What does he do? Well, one thing that he does is he has a professional website. He has a professional email. He has business cards. He saves his money. He makes sure to pay his bills on time. He focuses on making content. He takes his business very seriously. He has a business bank account. He has a LLC. That is the version of Lawrence that has an office. Now, now that I know what that version of me is, hopefully you guys don't hear that. There's a car like driving right past here. That now that I know that version of me, what decisions does he make? Throughout my day, I make decisions like that person would. It could be as small as not spending as much money at a corner store and instead putting that extra three, four, $5 into my business bank account. It could be that small. It could be as small as deciding I'm not going to eat that, I'm going to eat this. It could be as small as I'm going to spend more time reading a book. I'm going to spend an extra 5 minutes every day reading a book. It could be that small. But these little things over a long span of time make very big differences. Let's say every day you get 1% better. 1% closer to that version of you, 1% closer to that dream body, to that relationship, to that money, to whatever it is that you want. You get 1% closer every day. At the end of the year, that is a 365% difference. You are more than three times better than you were at the start of the year. Now, imagine you do that 5 times, 5 years, 3 years, 10 years. That is a massive difference. 3,650% difference in 10 years. And you might say, well, dang, Lawrence, 10 years, that's such a long time. Well, if you plan on living more than 10 years, it's going to pass regardless. The time is going to pass regardless. It's all about what are you doing with that time? How are you investing that time? People take their money and they spend so much money on looking cool. They spend so much money on getting those shoes, getting that watch. Man, I gotta take this girl out on a date. Man, I gotta go do this. I gotta go to that party. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. But is that aligned with the version of you that you want to be? If you want to be a bodybuilder, but every night you're eating junk food, is that aligned with that version of you? No, it is not. Put down the tasty cakes and the fruit roll-ups, pick up the chicken and rice. Oh, but that's boring. I don't want to do that. Well, if you want the goal, you gotta do what is required. It's called like you have to become the person that can. No, Lawrence, I just want the goal. I just want the thing. All right. But to have it, you got to be the person that is capable of having that. To have a successful business, you must become the person that is capable. To have a relationship, you must become the person that is capable. To have a car, you must become the person that is capable of driving the car without crashing it. To have whatever you want in life, there is a version of you that you must become. It could be as simple as you want to be able to have a car. You have to become the version of you that knows how to drive. It could be as big as you want to become a billionaire. You had to become the version of you that is capable of becoming a billionaire. Maybe you want to be a doctor. You had to become the version of you that studies, that pays for tuition, that is dedicated, that shows up on time, that doesn't sleep in, that doesn't procrastinate. That is the version of you that you must become. Maybe you want to run a art business. You want to sell paintings. Okay, you have to become the version of you that is a really good artist. You have to become the version of you that knows how to market. You have to become the version of you that knows how to start a business. You have to be the version of you that knows how to post on social media. You have to become the version of you that knows the algorithm, that knows how to grow your business. There is a version of you associated with whatever you want. And in order to become that version, you must put in the time, you must put in the effort, you must put in the dedication, and just keep showing up day by day by day. When the farmer plants his seed, he does not get a crop right away. When the person goes fishing, when I'm out fishing, I don't put the worm in the water, put the corn in the water, and immediately get a fish. It takes time. And if you're willing to put the time in, if you're willing to do the work that is required, if you're willing to ask yourself, what does that version of me do? How do they act? How do they talk? How do they dress? How do they treat people? How do they treat themselves? What do they eat? How do they sleep? What does that version of me do? And you're willing to do what it takes and you're willing to put that time in, you're going to get that goal. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can also purchase my books below and get one-on-one coaching calls. And if you are happen to be a podcast host, school principal, or run a youth-focused organization, you can contact me at Lawrence@lawrenceharris.com. Have a good one.